We want to answer this question, ladies and gentlemen. Between President Ruto and the Mount Kenya community, who betrayed the other? Because out there, I have friends who are telling me that President Ruto is a traitor. He betrayed them, and they are planning to teach him a lesson he will never forget come 2027. And the bitterness out there is out of this world. There are people who are even shedding tears at the betrayal. They can't believe Ruto did this to them. So what is it that Ruto did to them? Because you see, I said, emotions aside, we go with the facts. Betrayal is that we agreed on A, and you decided to do B, knowing that doing B is going to hurt me. That is what betrayal is. We agree on something, you go against it for your selfish reasons, knowing that doing that is going to hurt me. So what is it that Ruto and Mount Kenya people agreed on that Ruto has now gone against? Anyway, if this is a topic you are interested in, I ask you to stay tuned. And if you are watching for the first time, just take a moment, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. Otherwise, let us just jump into the subject of the day. I have said that betrayal is when we agree on A, you decide to do B, knowing very well that B is going to hurt me. You stab me in the back. That is what betrayal is. You go against our agreement purely based on selfish reasons. You want to come out a winner and I a loser. Let us now analyze. Has Ruto betrayed Mount Kenya people, especially the Kikuyus? And if he has, how has he done it? Simple. On what grounds did Mount Kenya people support Ruto? We are not going to go with guesswork. We are going to go with what they said. The mountain said, and I quote, "We are supporting Ruto because he stood with our son. Yangu kumi, ya Ruto kumi." Uhuru had promised that when Ruto's time came, he would personally lead the campaign. What Uhuru did is he promised Ruto, stand with me, no matter what. And when your turn comes, I will be the one to lead your campaign. What did Uhuru do? Barely into his second term, he changed the rules of the game, brought in Raila, and endorsed Raila as his candidate. So he sold that idea to the Kikuyus, to the people of Mount Kenya, who told him, no, we are not going to do that. We are decent humans. Okay? We promised Ruto that when his turn came, we will support him. And that is what we are going to do exactly. So, based on face value, the Kikuyus and the people of Mount Kenya were voting for Ruto as a way of returning a favor. They had promised that we will stand with you when your time came, and they were fulfilling that particular promise, ladies and gentlemen. It was not based on future quid pro quo. It was not like, oh, you want our votes? Well, if you want our votes, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can do that, we will give you our votes. No, Ruto had already done what they wanted. To quote them, they were like, you stood with our son. And that is why even if Uhuru went there to persuade them, they still stood with Ruto and overwhelmingly voted for him. However, it appears that is not why they voted. A lot is being revealed. It appears that there were hidden conditions. There is a belief that because they were going to stand with Ruto against all odds, they didn't tell Ruto what that meant. Because for President Ruto, he believed that these were gentlemen and ladies who were keeping a promise, saying that you stood with our son, it is our turn to stand with you. That might not have been the reason why Kikuyus and Mount Kenya people voted for Ruto. There could have been hidden reasons. And based on what I am understanding now, you are having categories of Mount Kenya voters. It appears there are people who voted for Ruto because they didn't like Raila Odinga, who Uhuru was supporting. And so to punish Uhuru for picking somebody they didn't like, they stood with Ruto. These people perhaps were not even in that we are paying a debt or we are fulfilling a promise. No, these ones were just revenging, just protesting, that is. They were just protesting against Raila Odinga and Uhuru's decision to endorse Raila. So now that Raila is back with Ruto, they feel Ruto has betrayed them. Because their reason for voting for Ruto was not because they believed in him, no. It is not because they were paying a debt, no. It's not because they were feeling like he's a wonderful leader who is going to, no. They were voting for him because they didn't like Raila. And Ruto was like a means of ensuring Raila does not get to power. And Uhuru was being punished for siding with Raila. So for these people, seeing that Ruto did not crush Raila as they expected, you will understand that deep down they feel betrayed. But then, can you blame Ruto for that? Because remember, they said openly that the reason as to why they were voting for Ruto was because he had stood with their son. They were paying a debt that had already, they were paying a debt, something that they had already enjoyed. Ruto supporting their son had already happened. Ruto had campaigned for Uhuru and made Uhuru president twice. In fact, Ruto ensured that Uhuru was voted for thrice. They gave Ruto the feeling that we are supporting you because we believe in you and because we want to fulfill our promise, we are gentlemen. But deep down, it appears some of them were doing this just to protest against Raila. And so today, they are feeling betrayed that Ruto is even supporting Raila for AUC. You can meet, if you meet such people today, you will find them praying and saying that Raila will fail at the AUC. These are people who are willing to support somebody from Djibouti whose name they can't even pronounce, but they would support him nonetheless. Because for them, Raila is a no-go. If you associate with Raila, you've lost them. So that is one category that is emerging. Remember, I told you that initially, President Ruto thought that the people who voted for him from Mount Kenya did so because they believed in him, number one, but two, because they were fulfilling a promise they made to him. But now he is realizing, I hope, that some of them just voted because they wanted somebody to get rid of Raila, because they hated Raila, and Ruto was now a lesser evil. Now that Ruto is working with Raila, they feel betrayed. There is another category, ladies and gentlemen. These are people who actually voted for Ruto because they wanted somebody to control. So these are the people who voted for Ruto because he was picking one of their own. So they were voting for Ruto through one of their own. You remember the other day, Rigathi Gachagua was in Embu. I think in Kirinyaga, yes. In Kirinyaga, one of these rallies he had before his impeachment. And he was saying, would you have voted for this man if it were not for me? And the crowd there shockingly said no. I'm not making this up. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find that video and watch. The crowd there said they were voting for Ruto because of Rigathi. Now, it means it could have not been, it must not necessarily be Rigathi, but they were voting for Ruto because he had a running mate that was a Kikuyu. So these are not people who voted for Ruto as a way of paying, as an act of kindness. No, it was like You've picked one of our son, and for that reason, we are voting for you. And so these ones, if that particular son of theirs is being removed from office, they feel betrayed. Because they voted for their son. They don't like Ruto per se. They confirmed that, if that crowd is to be taken literally. They said they were not interested in Ruto. They voted for Ruto because of their son. Okay? So you have a case where people who voted, whom you thought were your supporters, actually voted for you because they had a son. And remember, this son of theirs came in with that entitlement, feeling like, I'm the one who brought in the votes, and you are president because of me. For that reason, I'm co-president. In fact, I feel I'm superior. I should be calling the shots, and if you disobey me, if you go against what I want, I will go back to my people and incite them against you. And that is exactly what Rigathi Gachagua did. He went, tried to blackmail William Ruto. When William Ruto said no to the blackmail, he went back to the people, told them that Ruto is planning every evil thing against you. Ruto wants to destroy you. He no longer appreciates what we gave him as a support. And for that reason, ladies and gentlemen, let us come together and remove him from office. In fact, some even tried to remove him from office through anarchy. But they have promised that by 2027, they are going to remove him from office. The first category was supporting Ruto to get rid of Raila. And now that Ruto is working with Raila, they are feeling betrayed. There's another one that voted for their son, voted for Ruto because Ruto had their son. And now if Ruto cannot obey their son and cannot succumb to blackmail, he has betrayed them. In fact, the fact that their son has been impeached, that is now the worst form of betrayal, and they are even praying for Ruto's death. It's that bad. Then you have another group here that did not even vote for Ruto, because there are some Kikuyus, some people in Mount Kenya who actually voted for Raila Odinga. Not because they love him. You've seen how they behave. They are saying he should fail as everything. There is no support for Raila after election. But there is one thing that is consistent. They hate Ruto still. And so these ones, they will join the bandwagon of saying Ruto betrayed us, because anything that makes Ruto bad makes them happy. For them, it is a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if we didn't vote for Ruto, yes. We didn't like him, yes. And that is why we did a protest vote for Raila, who also we don't like. But now that Ruto, the people who are supporting Ruto, allegedly because he was a good man, have turned against him, we now have to echo their sentiments. And so these ones will be all over telling you how Ruto is a traitor, he's the worst person, we knew he was very bad, and that is why we didn't vote for him. Now you can see for yourself. That is another group. Then you have some people who actually believe in President Ruto and supported him genuinely. These ones don't feel betrayed. They're still sticking with the president even now. Of course, they are getting names, etc., because the mob justice, what I told you, the mob out there is lynching, ready to lynch you. But these ones are standing with Ruto. The MPs and quite a number of people from the mountain who are standing with Ruto and saying, let us give him a chance, let him deliver. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at what I've just painted for you, you see, Ruto got into this particular arrangement with Mount Kenya people on a goodwill basis. You have been kind to me, I will be kind to you. That is why when Ruto was forming his first cabinet, close to 10 in a cabinet of 22 were from Mount Kenya. Unheard of. He did not even favor his community. Ignore these funny choruses of, oh, for every person there was a... No. Facts are there. In a cabinet of 22, if you are to add Rigathi Gachagua, who also sits in that cabinet, you are going to have almost 10 people. But then, it appears that even when he made them the chair of KRA, the governor of Central Bank, the CS for Treasury, head of police, head of military, even the head of Economic Council, that was not enough. Even though Ruto ensured that parliamentary leadership was by Mount Kenya people, the guy in charge of budget from Mount Kenya, the guy in charge of finance from Mount Kenya, the majority leader from Mount Kenya, the likes of Rigathi felt that was not enough. Okay? So for them, Ruto should have handed over and let them run the show. And when Ruto said no, Ruto is now a traitor. He's a very bad person. He's a very evil person. So for Ruto, he was like, I'm doing this because I believe you are kind to me. I'm just returning this kindness. But these are people who are not feeling like it was an act of kindness. They were feeling owed. We gave you the votes. We put you there. You must take orders from us. You have to listen to us. Whatever we say should carry the day. If there are roads that Uhuru started, knowing very well that there is no money to complete them, you have to find money and complete those roads. And by the way, you should know we are not willing to pay more taxes also, but we want those roads done. If you don't do them, you are a traitor. So Ruto found himself in a very difficult situation. These are people he thought were supporting him because they believed in him and because he had stood with them. And they were saying wanarudisha mkono. Kumbe, these are people who are voting for him with conditions, hidden terms. Those hidden terms and conditions, things that are not brought on the table, but once you've taken over, then you are being told, we demand this and this. And when you say no, because you can't deliver what they're asking for, you immediately become an enemy. An enemy who has to be sent home. An enemy who you even want to overthrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you put emotions aside, like I said, you will find that Ruto has not betrayed Mount Kenya or Kikuyus in any way. In fact, he is the one who has been betrayed. Because the people who made him believe that they believed in him, that were supposed to give him a chance to deliver, are the people who have turned against him at his moment of need. It was so bad that Ruto now had to look for new friends. People that he believed would stand with him to the end turned against him. Not because he did anything bad, but because whatever Ruto gave was never enough. So if Ruto cannot deliver that enough, then Ruto has to go home. So I'm saying if you put emotions aside and you look at this thing objectively, you'll find that in this case, the Mount Kenya people are the ones who betrayed Ruto. But as usual, the people who wrong you, when they make, as long as they can make the loudest noise, they will be the victim. And in this case, you will be the villain. And so Ruto is being treated as a villain in a situation where he should be actually the victim. And is being promised to be sent home by people who should have stood by him and given him a chance to deliver. People that he has given more than he has given any other community. But that was not enough. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this video clarified a few things. But if you disagree with me, you just share in the comment section below. I would engage you. Otherwise, drop a like if you found the video useful. If you have never subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss similar videos. Otherwise, I want to thank you for taking your time and watching this video. Let us meet in the next one.